Charles Oliver Weeks.
That's a real treasure.
I was born in Vallejo, California in 1930.
How did you feel when you first heard that you were going to go to Korea?
How did I first heard about the Korean War?
Uh-huh.
Through the news, public news on television and paper.
Okay.
What else?
How did you join the military to go to Korea? How did you join the military for the Korean War?
How did I join the military?
Yeah, for the Korean War.
Well, I enlisted in the Army back in 1950, and I didn't know that I was going to be. I didn't know that I didn't purposely enlist in the Korean War for the Korean War. But when you enlist in the Army, they'll put you wherever they needed to be put. And what else?
Okay. What do you remember from Korea? What do you remember what it looked like? Who you met, who you worked with? Can
Yeah.
you Yeah, can you tell me what you remember from Korea?
Yeah, a foxhole spared my life. Without me, it took some effort on my part to survive. They say there's no atheists in foxholes. I believe that. Because I guess I never will understand why I was only threatened by one mortar round. When we were sent to the front lines, I was in the 1st Cav Division, and my officers told me we can expect a mortar round attack. They had knowledge that they had North Korean mortars were in the area, and we can expect some mortar round attacks. So my military leaders told me to prepare for a mortar round attack, which I did. I found an occupied foxhole that was already dug. If it hadn't been for that, I probably wouldn't have been alive today. Because after I jumped into the foxhole, I heard this deathly whistle of a mortar round coming over your head. And at that time, I was terrified when I heard that a mortar round has a deathly, horrifying sound to it. And I asked my Creator, my God, help us out of this situation. And only one mortar round was passed over a foxhole. And to this day, I can never reason why. There was only one mortar round. I don't know if it was because God answered my prayer, or if our mortar crew spotted the North Korean mortar crew that sent that mortar, if they annihilated them, I don't know. But to this day, I'm waiting for that more mortar rounds to come over my head. And I'm thankful that they didn't. Like I said, if God didn't answer my prayer, there's nobody else who could answer, because it was in that situation. So now I truly believe that it was my Creator, my God, that helped me out of that situation.
Do you remember any Korean? Do you remember any Korean soldiers or Korean people?
No, I didn't come in contact with the Korean people much, just occasional. But I'm glad I never had to take another life, somebody else's life, even though it was my enemy. I'm just glad I didn't have to kill another human being.
What unit were you a part of? Which unit?
Which unit?
Yeah.
Well, I was in the 1st Cav Division, 7th Cavalry Regiment, Company K, I believe it was. I wish I was advised to bring my award with me. That has all the, because I can't remember some of those units and then the names.
Okay.
But I regret that in a way, I regret that I dishonored my country, because I didn't change my socks. I got them wet, and I felt like I dishonored my army. My platoon leader told me to change my socks because I got them wet. We was laying down barbed wire to slow down the North Koreans. And I didn't think they were wet enough to be changed. But it wasn't for me to think if they were wet enough. It's just the fact that I never fulfilled a direct order on change my socks. So the next day, I was sent to a Korean hospital for frozen toe treatment. and I was in Japan for about a week.
When did you come back home?
I'm not sure the exact date. I didn't write down the dates, or us military men, we didn't write down the dates. But I think it was in January or February of '53.
Okay. And what did you do when you came back home?
What did I do when I came back home? Well, I was sent to. I never went back to my original First Cav Division. They sent me to another division, the 25th Division, to finish out my tour of duty. I think I've had about 4 or 5 months left on it. And so I can't remember what camp I was sent to. Now I don't even know if I joined up with the 25th Division in Korea or it was in the United States. But I joined up in July, I believe it was July the 25th, 1950. And I spent approximately 3 years in the Army. So I probably got my discharge in June or July of 1953.
Is the Korean War significant to your life? Is it important to your life?
Did it what?
Is the Korean War important and significant to your life?
Yes. I believe that I was honored by being able to enter the Army, as well as United States accepted my application for military service. Because I needed a job back in 1950. I had no work and very little education. So if I wasn't accepted in the Army back in 1950, I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have had to go on welfare. But so like I said, I was very honored to be able to serve my country in that capacity.
Do you think about the Korean War often?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, when you once experience a foxhole war front experience, you'll never forget it. Like I said, I was always wondering why I didn't experience more mortar rounds come over in my foxhole. It is because one reason is our mortarmen were on the job, and they annihilated the North Korean mortarmen. like I said, if God answered my prayer and and had something influence on that situation.
Do you have anything else that you want to say to the people who will be watching this interview later to learn about the war and your experience? Anything else that you want to say?
Like I said, I'm just thankful that I never had to kill one of my enemy. I hope that my countrymen won't feel dishonored for me saying that, but that's the way I feel. Just hope that the South Korean people and the North Korean people can come to some negotiable agreement for peace rather than the war, because everybody knows what the results of war is. The reason I'm here, I think, is because since I didn't have no education and no knowledge, not knowledge of anything else, in a way I depended on the Army to provide shelter and food for me. And the Army, military, United States helped me a lot. If I didn't have the food and shelter, which I'm having now, my sons would have to provide for me.
If you had the money, though, would you like to visit Korea?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I would.
Have you seen any photos of what it looks like now?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. You say you was born in Korea?
Yes. I lived there until I was 10.
What remembers do you have of Korea?
Well, it looks, to me, it's similar to what San Diego is like.
Okay. And what year were you born?
87.
Oh, my. Yeah, it's, they recovered pretty much from the war there, from then. Yeah.
Do you think it's important for people to know about what happened in the Korean War and know about your memories?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah, people like history who lived before me and lived after me. They hope they learn by my mistakes, 'cause I've learned by other people's mistakes.
You said you were surprised when you got the medal.
Yes.
Recently.
I was very much surprised and honored. I hope they help and treat their citizens the way that they treated us American soldiers.
Thank you so much.
Okay. You're welcome. Thank you, Jenny.